Hi there, Scott ROCKFILE back with another podcast review for you. Going to talk about the 2010 film Outrage, Way of the Yakuza. I wanted to watch this movie for a very long time. It had been in my Amazon wish list for a long time. And then the site I've talked about several times, HamiltonBook.com, had it really cheap. And so I picked it up and finally watched it recently. The short version is, if you're into Japanese cinema, if you know who Beat Kitano is, or Takeshi Kitano, he is a director and star. If you're aware of who he is in his films, then you definitely need to see this. I just found out before recording this review that it's part of a trilogy, that there were two more after this, and somebody called it one of the best Japanese gangster trilogies of all time. I didn't know there were two other movies, so I guess I'll have to do a little investigation. Anyway, there's some wonderful reviews on the cover of the Blu-ray. The tagline is "One wrong move and it's all out war." This big deal, why it was such a big deal, is that Takeshi Kitano, Beat Kitano, was getting back into movies for the first time in a long time. He hadn't directed anything or done anything like this, and this is what he was known for. So to get into a longer non-spoiler review of it, and it won't be long because really it's a Japanese movie in Japanese with Japanese stars, so I can't go into great detail about some of the movies these other people have been because I really don't know. I was really looking forward to this movie, and I got to say at the end of it, I felt it was a little dry. I don't think it's a bad film. I think it's a great film, actually. But there's very little in the way of music. There's very little in the way of modern storytelling to push it along. It just kind of happens. Now, that being said, it almost feels like a documentary. It feels like you're actually in the rooms with these members of the Yakuza, the gangsters of Japan. And Beat Takeshi is amazing. He's a force of nature in the film. Just him just brooding, just standing there. It's wonderful to see him in these kind of movies again. And the movie is very violent. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of gore. Man, there's a scene in the dentist chair that's, it's a little bloody. Anyway, all that being said, for most people, this is a 4 out of 5 film. If you're not into Japanese Yakuza movies, I would take that down at least a star. Like I said, it's a little dry. It just kind of drops you in, and things start happening, and you kind of have to figure out who everybody is and how they relate, and then they start screwing each other over and killing each other, and then you start getting a good handle on it. I was thoroughly entertained by the movie. It's a great transfer. It's a good surround sound in Japanese, 5.1 DTS HD master audio. It was a little over 90 minutes, about an hour and 45 minutes. Some of the reviews: nerve-tingling. Each execution outdoes itself in cruelty, says the Hollywood Reporter. Twitch says, when it comes to the gangster film, few have ever done it better than Kitano. And with Outrage, he is absolutely back in peak form. A truly iconic international crime film. Variety said, savage mayhem. The film isn't for the squeamish. Now, like I said, it is very violent. When the killings happen, they're in the face. People getting their heads blown off. People getting cut, fingers cut off, throats slashed, you name it. And there's some particularly gory stuff in a dentist chair. But it's shown in more of a documentary style, more of a dramatic style than anything like Quentin Tarantino or any of the modern action movies do. So it's kind of very matter of fact and just kind of very, this is how these people live. It's supposed to be shocking, and I guess it was. Some of the scenes were, but other scenes were just like, well, that's kind of what I expected to happen, and it did. When he explodes, especially Beat Kitano, when he explodes, it's, wow, he's like I said, a force of nature, a great actor. But a lot of the movie just kind of plays out as you expect this kind of movie to play out. That's not a bad thing. If this is what you're looking for entertainment, this movie's going to fully satisfy. But I was looking for something a little bit more elevated. I would think it would be a little, since it's his return to this genre and this form, maybe it would just kind of blow me away like old John Woo movies used to do or something like that. And I thought it was very good. I thought it was almost like a Scorsese version of a Japanese Yakuza film. It was really well filmed, well done, well acted. It just didn't excite me that much. And when it was over, it's not like one I'm going to go back to really quickly unless I want to watch him. Because, again, Beat Takeshi Kitano, he's really great. He's great. Been in every movie I've ever seen him in, he's been great. And he's great in this. So, Outrage, Way of the Yakuza. If you are into Japanese films in Japanese language, a little bit of gore, a lot of gangster action, you're going to dig this movie. If you're looking for something more, then I would probably pick something that's not subtitled. I don't know. For the average person, that's a detriment to a movie like this. But I thought it was well done, well acted. It just wasn't my favorite film of the year. I'd probably give it about a 3.5. Most people give it a 4 higher. So your mileage may vary. Let me know what you think. Takeshi Kitano's Outrage, Way of the Yakuza. Definitely worth a watch if you're into that kind of thing. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. Thanks for checking out this short podcast. Many more on the way. Links are below. Have a spectacular day.